Hello, my name's Samuel Green, and today I'm speaking with Daniel Shayesteh. Daniel was a Muslim and now he's a Christian, and he's going to be telling us about his life and how he made that change. Hello, Daniel.
Hello.
So, can you please tell us a little bit about your childhood, where you were born and where you grew up?
I was born in a city called Talesh in the northern part of Iran, in a farmer's house. My father was a Muslim and had 2 wives and 12 children, and just a middle class, even lower than middle class farmer. So I grew there. My father encouraged me from childhood to learn religious things, to memorize the Quran. So I did well, and at the age of 9 I was able to recite the Quran, able to do some religious works, and learned also from the Quran and from the mosques and religious books in the area that Islam should be a religion of the world, and Islam should wipe out all other religions, especially Christianity and Jews. So that was our mindset. We were growing. We didn't know really what radicalism was in that time. We were living in the time of Shah. It was a secular, regime, and we were just, practicing Islam, in a moderate level. Even though I was more religious than other members of the family, but that was all.
Now, you said that as a child you did religious things. What does that mean? What would a child who knows the Quran do?
Well, Quran, you recite the Quran, and it's a big tradition in Islamic countries that you have to have somebody in your family to memorize the Quran or to be able to recite the Quran over dead bodies. Parents always worry about their future because Islam doesn't give any confidence about future to them, and then the works, like one of them is reciting Quran over your, dead relative, hoping to send them from the pressure of hell to heaven. And also there are other religious works. For example, living in a Shiite country, you mourn for the martyrs in Shia and leaders. So there are every year about 13 days, mourning days. You go there and you sing mourning songs and you make other people to cry. So those are the practices. Or in funeral times, you go to the home of the dead, deceased people, and you recite the Quran and recite some of the Islamic creeds and prayers, and so you run it.
So you were a young man, you would go to these events and recite the Quran as part of the ceremonies.
Yes.
And obviously this was seen as a good thing that you were doing.
Absolutely. I mean, many people were just proud of me. I was doing that, and many put pressure on their children that you see that he is very good, but you're not good. You have to be good like that.
Okay. Now, how did you get involved with the Ayatollah Khomeini? Well, I've heard that you were part of the forces there. Can you tell us about that?
Well, after I entered university, I became a poor student. I had some savings, and I finished my savings. I didn't know the life in the capital city, Tehran, that you have to have big money to be able to survive there. I was a good student and loved really to finish my education. And then I saw that I have finished all my savings. I'm unable to study, and I decided to sleep under the bridge. A few of my friends gave me shelter. So after that I became angry at the ruling king, Shah Iran, that Iran is a rich country sitting on the oil base. I'm a student. I may have a hope for my future, but doesn't have any money to study. So I got involved with revolutionary students, and gradually I was absorbed to the fundamentalist radical Muslim students, and I started to support Ayatollah Khomeini, did riots, broke banks, burned buses and other things, the things very prevalent in that time. And then the Shah Iran, left the country. Ayatollah Khomeini came in, and then we started to rule the country by Islamic law. Because I was one of the famous boys and also experienced in army, techniques. With two others, initially we were called to start the Iranian Revolutionary Army. All the members of that army were called Hezbollah according to the Quran. And the goal of the army was to go and fight side by side with Palestinian and Lebanese Shiites against Israel to capture Israel. And also the second goal is to Islamicize the world, to take Islam to the end of the world. So I became very much involved with that. Then I went to my hometown and became a famous man there, announced my candidacy for Islamic Parliament, leader of the political party, so pretty much involved, with it. But unfortunately, in the second year, or fortunately, I became an opposition to Ayatollah, because Ayatollah lied to Iranian people. He promised freedom, but after taking over, nobody was able to criticize the system, even in a positive way. People were taken to prison and they were killed, lifetime imprisonment, persecution. That really scared all of us. What's happening here? We have paid a great price for freedom. Now we have to live in a very mere, absolute authoritarian system. So we started our own political party, and the people in my group won the government. One of my colleagues became the president of the country. Ayatollah didn't like it. He attacked the president and eventually wanted to kill him. He escaped. Government was destroyed. Some of us were able to escape. Some were killed. I was one of them, caught and put in a death cell waiting in the death row.
That's quite a story there. Now, you're saying that initially you were angry at the Shah because of the injustice that you saw, and you saw that Islam was the answer to this injustice. And so you joined the Ayatollah Khomeini to bring about this Islamic state. Do you still think that Islam is the answer, or was it just the Ayatollah Khomeini who got it wrong, or do you think that Islam actually wasn't going to give you the answer and actually led to the Ayatollah Khomeini? What do you think about that now? How do you think about Islam now?
Well, this is a big problem in all Islamic countries, that you have learned how to rebel, you haven't learned how to run. They never teach you how to run. And we were just blind, followers of Ayatollah Khomeini, blind followers of Islam. We didn't know the Islamic, economic and political and social values really. And I knew that philosophically there is God, there is one God for the universe, because I didn't know any other religion, so I was following Islam. And absolutely, Islam was not a response. We didn't know that. We were thinking it was a response. We were just deceived. But what I think now is Islam is the, if you want to choose, make a decision among all religions in the world for a social and political philosophy, Islam is the least one in my mind, because Islam is absolutely an authoritarian religion. It's the only religion mixes politics, and politics is at the peak point of the religion, and its political values is just a nomadic sectarian value that doesn't allow the opinion of other people, and as a result, creativity is just zero. Creates people passive obedience who do not have any right really to decide for their lives.
Mm-hmm. So you're not a Muslim now. You've obviously changed your belief. Can you tell us a bit about how you became a Christian?
Well, God, just amazing grace covered me. Even I didn't know him, but he had a plan for me, and I was able to escape the death sentence. And a lot of things happened, and then I got provisionally released, and that was an opportunity for me to escape from Iran to Turkey. in Turkey I was a wandering man. I didn't know about my future. Concerning religion, I had doubt about Islam. The prison experience, created doubt in me. How can it be that my Muslim brothers, were not able to be receptive toward me? I was a servant. I mean, imagine even I was wrong. If you're wrong, I mean, you should have time to correct yourself. Why they should kill you? I mean, that was something. Created something in my mind, and I doubted. And also I had, some scattered reading about the Quran while I was in prison. I discovered that Allah could not be the true God. He's the creator of every evil. So in Turkey, I really spiritually was lost, and also concerning my life, I didn't know about my future. And then after a year, one day I was so painful, really. I was thinking and I cried. Deep in my heart, I believed that there was a God. And I cried to God. I said, I know you're mighty. You can help me, but I don't know how to frame you, in what religion to put you, because I don't know any other religion. I know Islam. I can't trust in Islam anymore. I cried, really. In the following night, I saw a dream. And there was an earthquake and people died. Houses were destroyed, and a very scary situation. I cried to God. I said, I'm alone here. I was exactly in my father's house. I need help. And Jesus revealed himself to me in dream. I said, I'll help you. Come out from your father's house. I rushed out. My father's house fell down. And I woke up. I saw that was a dream. The following Sunday, I went to an Iranian church in Istanbul, in Turkey. I heard my dream from the pulpit. A preacher was preaching there, and he said to people exactly the same sentence I heard from Jesus. Come out from your father's house. Live in the house that Jesus has built for you. The house of Jesus is built on rock. Nothing can destroy that. But your father's house is built on sand. Everything can destroy it. Of course, I knew that it was spiritual talking. And it really amazed me, and that also encouraged me to be interested in reading their books. And so they gave me a New Testament and a Gospel. I started to read it. I was amazed, really. Amazed of the philosophy of the Gospel, of the Bible. I never knew the philosophy of Christ is different to all other religions. In Christ, God reveals himself to people in order to have personal relationship with his creatures in the life on earth. But in all other religions, they live for the life after, though uncertain. You see, Muhammad said, I never saw my God. God never reveals himself to people. Now, he's the best man in Islam. God never revealed himself to him. But in the gospel, God reveals himself to every person, because he's the creator of all. He loves all. So it was amazing that deep in their heart, all Muslims cry to unite with their God in this world. There's a great saying of Maulana Rumi. He's the great, poet in the Middle East. He cries here, I want to be established on my root, on my original state in this life. So I knew that a true God must be accessible in this world for you to have him and to unite with him. Yes. And that touched my heart.
And so you're saying that in the gospel we meet God in a way that in Islam you don't meet God.
Absolutely. Who you are, the relationship of Muslims to Allah is the relationship of a slave to master. A slave never unites with master. A slave only follows master what says. There is not an intimate relationship, One reason they reject Christian values to call Jesus the Son of God, because of that intimacy. Who you are to be called the Son of God, or the child of God, or the member of the household of God. Though this is spiritual, they just, translate that in a physical way in order to make their words, justify their words.
Sure. Just a few words. What does the death of Jesus mean for you now?
Amazing thing. The death of Jesus for me is the hope of life. There's a resurrection from the death, from this world that produces death for you. God came to release us from the bondage of Satan. You see, when Adam and Eve sinned, they fell into the kingdom of Satan. They were in the kingdom of Satan. In the kingdom of Satan, nobody can save himself. The simple reason for that is because Satan doesn't believe in freedom. Satan, you cannot say to Satan, look, I have lived so many years with you or some years with you, I just want to leave you now. Satan says to you, you're kidding me? I don't believe in that. You're in my chain. Therefore you need someone mightier than Satan come and save you. Now God is in heaven. He is the world of living. When He wants to save you, He needs to enter this world. This world is the world of death. In other words, God entered the world of death. God accepted death Himself to come in this world. Because He is God, He can enter the world of death. He can get out from the world of death too.
And bring life.
But bring life. So He came, He entered the world of death. Satan was excited. But when He died and rose, He crushed the wall of Satan. Satan became disappointed. Wow, my kingdom's wall was crushed. And so Jesus came out from death, and that's the hope of life for us. Another meaning of death is to pay the price for me. When you sin, that means you're spiritually dead. You spiritually will live forever in the eternal death kingdom. You're there. And after your death also you belong to hell. And so you have to pay. That's the price of your sin. You have to die physically and spiritually. What happened really, God came as someone who loves all of us. And He said, look, I can die for you. I can get my life back because I'm eternal. Satan wants price because I'm a just God. From the beginning I have said to you people, if you sin, you die. I cannot ignore justice. If I ignore, Satan blames me. You're the just God, but you're not paying the price for death. I can pay price for you because I am from the kingdom of life. You cannot pay price for yourself because you're already dead.
So God does for us what we can't do ourselves.
Absolutely.
So God gives us His mercy with justice. We have the forgiveness of sins through the justice of the death of Jesus for us. Now, what are you doing now? Are you sharing this message with other people?
God has opened the door for me to all over the world, and I'm speaking to people, bringing religions and philosophies and comparing with the values of Christ. I'm also speaking through TV to Muslim world and just opening their eyes and helping them and sharing my experiences with them, bringing everything from Islam to the surface, everything from Christianity to the surface for people to compare and to see really which one is the right path for them to God, which one can take them to God or open the door for God to come and unite with them.
All right. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
It's a pleasure.